The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Now, John, I keep telling you, I'm not the best, I'm not the worst, but we're still on the radio, so that counts. Tonight we got, by popular demand, back on our show, Bruce Maccabee. He'll be on right after these.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. And thank you.
You are all. Everybody's voting for the friendly voice of radio, the people's choice. Music, weather, sports, and news, it's radio. The people choose. Everybody's swinging to the swinging voice of radio, the people's choice. Big fry, small fry, dawn to dawn, it's radio that turns them on.
Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
Well, I hope everybody's been having a great day, a great week. I think where I'm at, down at the compound, down at the harbor, we've been off and on having summer. One day it's in the 90s, next day it's like 70 degrees. I don't know. Earth changes, I guess. Well, back from popular demand from you guys, wanted to hear Bruce Maccabee back on the show. We have him on. He's one of the godfathers of UFOs. Hi, Bruce, my friend. How you doing?
Not too bad, but I didn't know I was a godfather.
Oh, yeah, you're very much respected out there. So, yeah, and guess what? I guess it all starts when we get a certain age, too, doesn't it?
Do I have to put something in my mouth to plump out my cheeks or something like the Godfather?
No, you don't have to do that. Well, you can if you want, but no, you don't. So why don't you tell listeners a little bit about yourself, before you got into UFOs, what you did, and what caused you to get into, trying to find out if UFOs exist or not?
Well, I guess before I got interested in UFOs, the main thing I accomplished was growing up and going to school, and I ended up at American University in Washington, D.C., working for a Ph.D. in physics, and that was about the time in the latter half of the 60s that there was a big kerfuffle about UFO sightings occurring in Michigan and the Midwest, and this is the time of the sightings going unexplained, and J. Allen Hynek referring to sightings as being swamp gas. Gerald Ford was a Speaker of the House, Minority Leader of the House at the time, not happy that his constituents were being called idiots by most people because of their reporting on UFOs, although the reports were made by highly credible people about phenomena that couldn't be explained in any easy way. Anyway, the House of Representatives directed the Air Force to start an independent investigation. That took place at the University of Colorado under a guy by the name of Edward U. Condon, who was the director. Condon had his mind already made up at the very beginning that there was nothing to this, but anyway, they carried out researches for a couple of years, and for this couple of years, it was almost possible to talk about UFOs in good company without having a bag over your head.
Oh, yeah.
But then the Air Force, the Condon study couldn't find any absolute proof of UFO reality or extraterrestrial visitation or anything, and basically closed out the report, the final report of the Condon Committee, saying that they had found nothing that couldn't be explained, and there was nothing that was of a threat to the United States. So at that point, by this time, which was in 1969, I had my interest in the subject had been attracted by sightings that I heard about that seemed to be inexplicable, and then I read a book, Flying Saucer Serious Business, by I can't think of the guy's name right now, but I was at American University, which is close to this organization called NICAP in Washington, D.C., National Investigating Committee on Aerial Phenomena. And they had a couple of guys from NICAP come and talk at American University, give a UFO lecture, essentially. Not many people attended, but I did attend. And they said they could use volunteer help at their headquarters. Well, I knew that NICAP was mentioned in all sorts of books and mentioned all the time when people were talking about UFOs. So I expected it would be a big organization down in the belly of Washington, D.C. somewhere. So I think it was the fall of 1968, went to 1536 New Hampshire Avenue, I think was the address, near DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C., for those of you who might be there and recognize what I'm talking about. In any case, there was what I went to was not a big research installation with a whole bunch of scientists running around doing things and secretaries filing papers and stuff like that. It was a upper floor in a row house, and manned by one little old woman, Isabel Davis, who was running the show, so to speak. And I did some work for them, and this connected me up with a UFO investigating group. NICAP had subcommittee groups throughout the United States, and the subcommittees did the research investigations. And so I did some investigations with these people, and that got me started in doing how to do stuff like that and carry out a UFO investigation. And I did a couple, and then the Air Force shut down Project Blue Book in late 1969, and at that point, the general feeling was that UFOs are all finished. There's nothing to it. It dropped out of the press. There was nothing going on. Only people who were members of UFO groups, they kept their ears to the ground, so to speak, knew that there still were sightings going on. But then in 1973, in the fall of late summer of 1973, it was suddenly, we're back, when a whole bunch of sightings occurred, including some that made national news, the Hickson Parker abduction at Pascagoula, Mississippi, and the Larry Coyne helicopter case near the north of Columbus, Ohio. Both of these made national news, and it also allowed for other sightings to be reported, and so it was apparent that UFOs were not dead. At that point, I decided to do my own investigations of stuff, and I began by doing statistical analysis, and I tackled the photo case. The only photo case that was given a thumbs up by the photo analyst, William Hartman, who was working for the Condon study. And he concluded that this one case, McMinnville, Oregon, 1950, the Trent Farm photos, that he concluded that although he couldn't prove that it wasn't a hoax, it's everything he looked at, the circumstantial evidence, the story behind it, the people themselves, and the physical evidence, the photo, seemed to be consistent with the claim of the witnesses that this thing flew by, and the pictures are sufficiently distinctive. The image is big enough, and clearly not an airplane or anything like that. It's either the real thing or a hoax. There's no halfway point. So I started analyzing that, managed to get a hold of the original negatives, and my whole investigation is on my website, which I might mention is brumac.mysite.com, BRUMAC.MYSITE.com, brumac.mysite.com. You can scan down through 100 megabytes worth of, I guess it is, worth of analyses of various UFO cases till you get to the McMinnville cases. Essentially, search the website for what you're looking for. And I learned a lot of photography by studying these cases, learning it really from the bottom up, so to speak, how film reacts and how optics and cameras react, and all sorts of stuff like that. I actually wrote a technical paper that was published based on research that I did in order to understand a certain aspect of the Trent photos. So the Trent photo case resulted in legitimate work. They got published in a technical photo magazine. Anyway, I took on other cases like the Gemini 11 astronaut case of an object that flew past the Gemini 11 capsule.
Yeah, now
I don't know if I just say it flew by, it traveled by, and they got a couple of pictures of it. There was also, that was in 1966. Then in 1973, there was the Skylab 3 series of photos of a red something or other. We call it a red satellite, but the only problem with that is there were no red satellites. Satellites were either white, black, or shiny, bare polished metal. Nothing red. So we don't know what it was that they saw, but it appeared to follow them a little bit, but we don't know what that was.
Now I gotta ask you a question, Bruce. Going, where the astronauts got a few pictures of a UFO. Now, have you studied those pictures, and what's your honest feedback on those? Because some people say those pictures were faked by NASA, others say that they're real. What is your honest opinion?
I have only studied 2 sets of photos, which are the Gemini 11 photos, which the Air Force initially identified the object that they photographed